guys good? Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant John O'Brien from Sheriff's Homicide Bureau. I, along with my partner, Shannon Rincon, are the handling investigators into the death of victim Luis Paul Rivera. First of all, thank you all for coming today. Hopefully you guys will be able to help us out and get the information out on Paul, who is a true innocent victim, and to get some assistance from the public to help us with this investigation. I'm not sure when it happened or how it became politically correct, but it has actually become politically advantageous to victimize the criminal and to criminalize the police and to ignore the victims. We're trying to refocus the community on a true victim, Luis Paul Rivera, or as Paul, that is how his family called him. So about the case, on July 1st, 2019 at approximately 2 p.m., Paul was shot and killed while standing in his garage of his residence located on Temple Avenue just west of Hacienda Boulevard in the La Puente area of Los Angeles County. Paul was in the process of making lunch for his daughter and went to the garage to retrieve some hot dog buns from the refrigerator, and as he stood in front of the refrigerator, he was shot and killed. The suspects in this case drove two vehicles. We believe there was a third larger SUV involved in the murder, but the two vehicles you see on the flyer were the actual vehicles involved in the murder. The suspects drove in the alleyway behind the residence, exited their vehicle. Multiple suspects fired multiple handguns at the residence, shooting and killing Paul. This case is a gang murder, although Paul was not a gang member. Paul was a 40-year-old truck driver who was in the final stages of being hired as a longshoreman. He was the father of two teenage kids who are not involved in gangs, and there are no gang ties to his residence. We believe that the suspects in this case were doing a retaliation murder for a gang murder that occurred the night before. And the cowards who were involved in this shooting simply got the wrong house. Information we are getting that there were between 6 and 10 persons involved in this homicide. We are asking the public that has any information or may recognize one of these vehicles that are in these pictures to contact Sheriff's Homicide Bureau, or if you wish to remain anonymous, Crime Stoppers can take your information. Homicide detectives have been working closely with gang detectives from the Operation Safe Streets Bureau, officers or detectives from Covina Police Department, West Covina Police Department, as well as the Azusa Police Department. And with the success of the hard work of the detectives, numerous murders in the San Gabriel Valley area have been solved, and those persons in custody are awaiting trials. However, this case is slowed, and we are asking again for the public's assistance. There are several members of Paul's family that would like to address the media. I'd first like to introduce his brother, Chris.
Thank you, Sergeant O'Brien. I'd like to begin by thanking the media for being here today to shine the light on my brother's case. I'd like to thank the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and the hard work of the detectives thus far, over a year, almost a year and a half. And I just want to say that this has been a tragic, senseless loss for our family. And my brother was a good father, a sole provider to his children, a single father of two, a staple in the community, someone that was often involved in youth sports, heavily involved in the activities at his children's schools, and it's left a large void in our life. And although I am very optimistic and I'm confident in the abilities of this investigation unit here at the Sheriff's Department that this will be solved, it won't bring any closure. And so our goal is that if you're out there and you know something, reach out, make a phone call. You can stay anonymous. The detectives have the resources to do their job in a way that can hopefully keep you anonymous more often than not. Because we don't want any other family to go through what we've gone through. We don't want any other person to be a victim. I wouldn't wish these feelings and emotions on my worst enemy. And I know that this is the first half of this long process and road that will be ahead of us. But my message for the second half of this is that to District Attorney Gascon, we will hold you accountable to ensure that the individuals that did this to my brother and to my niece and to my nephew are not showing any leniency because they didn't show my brother any leniency. We don't want these type of individuals to be on the street, and we don't want anybody else to suffer this tragic loss. Again, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for their hard work and their continued hard work and their assisting agencies that have helped them in this investigation. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Paul's mother, Connie.
I guess, first of all, I need to thank everybody for being here, but you have no idea what this has done to our family and to his 2 children. They're just teenagers and they lost their father, their sole parent at the time. We love him and miss him so much. There's not a day that goes by that I don't talk to him, that I don't see him, that I don't see his smile. He was innocent. This should have never happened. I say time after time, why did he even go out there? Every day I talk to him in the garage where he got killed, because that's the last place that he had life. I want these people to be, I want justice for my son's death. I want these people to be held accountable, totally accountable. And I too say to Mr. Gascon, there is no leniency. There shouldn't be any leniency. You know, these people should be gone forever in the system. They don't deserve to be out in 10 and 15 years. And I want these people to be caught and held accountable for what they've done to our family. They broke apart a family and they took a beautiful soul from this earth. There was probably 600 people at his funeral, at his services. That's how liked he was and how many friends he had. Please help us. Please help us close this case so we can have something. There's not a day that goes by that I don't say, you know, I wish I was with you, Paul. I wish it was me instead of you. And I don't want to see any other mother ever have to go through this because it's horrible. Please. Please help us. Someone who knows something, please help us. Please. I beg of you to help us. Thank you. No, aquí.
Do you want to speak in Spanish? And Paul's cousin, correct? Niece, Andy, would like to speak, and she's going to speak in Spanish.
Primero quiero dar las gracias a todos que están aquí presentes. Quiero pedirles si algunos de ustedes tienen alguna información sobre los carros que están aquí a mi lado. Por favor, vengan adelante, porque la pérdida que se siente aquí con mi familia, se lo juro que no se lo merece nadie. La falta de mi tío lo sentimos hoy más que nunca. Y eso no se lo deseo a nadie. Les pido por favor que si tienen alguna información, lo que sea tan insignificante que piensen que es, por favor vengan adelante. No se queden callados. Por favor, ayúdenos a encontrar a quién hizo esto, porque la falta que sentimos no se lo imaginan. Le doy gracias a todos que están aquí, a mi tía, a mis primos por ser tan valientes sin su padre. Yo sé que la falta del que les hace no se lo imaginan. Le doy gracias a todos que están aquí por grabar esto, por sacar este mensaje. Por favor, les pido que vengan adelante. Gracias. Mi tío era una persona de muchas sonrisas. Siempre estaba para apoyarnos en todo. Siempre te decía que le echabas ganas, siempre te daba el ánimo que te faltaba cuando algo te iba mal en la vida. Él siempre estaba allí para apoyarte. Él siempre estaba en primera fila para decirte que estaba orgulloso de ti. Él siempre estaba para darte los consejos que necesitabas en la vida. Si algo te iba mal, si te sentías mal. Mi tío siempre tenía una sonrisa y siempre veía la vida con orgullo y maravilla. Mi tío era mágico, era muy orgulloso de sus hijos, siempre hacía lo que necesitaba por ellos. Era un padre excelente y siempre estaba ahí con su familia y quería que salieran adelante todos y siempre para ayudar, para echar la mano, lo que se necesitaba, con sus amigos, con su familia, con quien sea. Era una persona increíble y lo extraño y me hace falta todos los días. Gracias. Andy Marie Contreras. A-N-D-E-E. Marie M-A-I-R-I-E. Contreras. Gracias.
Is there any other members of the family that wish to speak? No? I just want to thank you again for coming out. Again, I just want to remind you that this case could be anybody in the public. You're in your own garage getting hot dog buns out of your refrigerator, and cowards come from behind you and shoot and kill you simply because you lived in a house that looked like a person they were looking for. We know that Paul was not involved in gangs or the family, but he is a true innocent victim. If there's any quick questions we can answer real quick. Anything? The garage door was open partially, and they did not enter the garage or the property. They shot blindly over a fence, basically, at the entire house. Paul's daughter was inside the house, and the house was shot up, and she easily could have been injured herself. Any other questions? Yes, at the time there was numerous murders that had occurred in the La Puente area, starting in late 2018 and all the way through 2020. Paul's murder was just one of those. There was a murder the night before where a gang member was shot and killed in the La Puente area, and we believe this was retaliation for that murder. And they simply got the wrong house. Any other questions? Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you coming out. Oh.